Hey everybody, so as promised, this is going to be a video explaining what's going on behind the scenes at DC Movies, what's going on with the Justice League shared universe, how all the films going forward are going to change, and how some of the faces, like Ben Affleck's Batman face, are going to change in the next couple of movies. So if you're finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's going to be a whole bunch of comic book stuff dropping between now Star Wars and the end of the year. So because it's all still so crazy, I'm still doing that ticket giveaway. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. But starting with the big report first, you may have read that the people that are responsible for making the DC movies, like Geoff Johns, John Berg, are changing their roles just a little bit. So John Berg was technically Geoff Johns' boss. They've been creative control at DC Movies for about the past 2 years or so. A couple years ago, when they were still making Batman v Superman and ramping up for Justice League, they sent John Berg, and he was the person who would sit around on the set of those movies, making sure that everything went the way that the company wanted it to go. I've already done a couple videos about Geoff Johns' involvement with this universe. So you have Deborah Snyder up at the top, who's president of DC Entertainment, and then within that, you have Geoff Johns and John Berg that are sort of helping out with the films. But they really didn't put those people in place until they had started to ramp up for Justice League. And because there's so much money involved and so much pre-production, by the time the Batman v Superman hit theaters and got this big critical backlash, they had already started shooting Justice League. So they were way too deep in it to make any kind of changes or pivot the way they wanted to. So that sort of led to the circumstances behind the Franken movie that Justice League turned into. So the same thing that happens every time a big movie franchise doesn't make the money that they want it to make. A bunch of people either get fired or they get moved to other departments. So what the reporting is that John Berg is leaving his post as sort of the de facto person in charge of DC Movies, and he's going to become a producer with the people that make the Lego movies, and it's something that he asked to do earlier this year, which gives you an idea that the people at Warner Brothers knew what was probably going to happen with Justice League. They probably thought that it wouldn't make as much money as they wanted to. So a bunch of these decisions about people getting shuffled around in the way they're changing the way they make the actual movies probably got made way earlier this year. Like when you heard about Joss Whedon coming in to finish Justice League, they actually asked him to do that way earlier this year. They just didn't announce it till during the summer, till they were already actually doing it. So anytime you hear about an executive behind the scenes getting shuffled to another department like John Berg, they probably made that decision months and months ago. So that's sort of what's going on behind the camera. Geoff Johns is still going to continue to advise on the films. They're still making all of the films that they said that they were going to make. Aquaman's still coming out next year. They're still making Wonder Woman 2. They're still going to do the Flashpoint movie. Matt Reeves is still going to do his Batman movie. They have the Shazam movie that's in development right now. None of that stuff's going to change. The only thing that's going to change behind the scenes is the way they deal with each of those filmmakers and how much they try to shoehorn them into the same shared universe. So a little while ago, when they made that announcement, Geoff Johns clarified that all the movies would still be connected. It's just going to be more of a Wonder Woman situation where it's kind of its own thing, and you just have bookends like Wonder Woman's picture that give it connective tissue with the other films and the other characters. But for the most part, each of the films won't have plot points shoehorned in setting up future movies. Like they won't have to deal with setting up another Justice League movie, even though there will be another Justice League movie eventually. But probably not until we have our new Batman. So the other real big thing that everybody's talking about right now is what's going on with Ben Affleck, when is he going to leave, and when are we going to see our new Batman? What all the trades have been reporting is that he will serve out his contract through the Flashpoint movie. They'll change whatever they want to change with the timeline so that when Barry goes back and allows his mother to die, as he does during Flashpoint, we'll get an ending that will fix the logic of why Batman looks different the next time we see him, whether or not we actually see him during the Flashpoint movie. My early theory about that is that they would just do Flashpoint with Ben Affleck and whatever Thomas Wayne Batman they want to do, let him right off into the sunset, and then when you get to the Matt Reeves Batman movie a couple years down the road, then you introduce your new Batman for the first time. So what that means is because we probably won't see that Batman movie for minimum 2 years, maybe 3 years, the next Justice League movie probably won't drop for 4 or 5 years, which I'm totally fine with. If they want to get everything in order, set the characters up in a way that makes you care about them before they put them together in a movie, I think it'll be better for everybody. I think the real question is how much are they legit going to try and retcon stuff with the Flashpoint movie, or if they'll just let Flashpoint be a self-contained story that's a little bit smaller And then when you get to later movies with different actors and recast roles, they don't bother to explain it. They're just like, this is Batman. He's always been Batman. What are you talking about, Ben Affleck? That would be hilarious. The reason why they'll probably try to make the logic work is because Gal Gadot will be Wonder Woman for a long time. She's enormously popular, critics love her, and her movies are doing gangbusters, and she's still very young, so she could continue to play the character for the next 10 years if she wanted to. As far as he's led on, and as far as people have talked about, Henry Cavill is still juiced up to play a comic booky version of Superman, but we don't have a script or a date for the next Man of Steel movie, so it'll probably be at least 3 years before you see the next Man of Steel movie. And I already talked a little bit about Matt Reeves' Batman movie. He said that it would be connected to the DC universe, but the story itself would be relatively self-contained, and it might be happening in the past. It might be with a younger version of the Batman. So when he casts his actor, whoever that's going to be, it might not wind up being the Batman in the next Justice League team-up they do, but I think that just depends on how things work out. They just want to make a really awesome movie, and then if everybody really loves the performance and the actor, then they'll try to keep him around as long as possible. But hopefully that clears up some of the confusion. Just people heard that they were changing things because Justice League didn't make as much money as they wanted to. But really the only thing that's changing is a couple executives behind the scenes just asked to be moved to different departments and different roles. And Ben Affleck has been talking about making a graceful exit from the universe in a timely manner. So I think that Flashpoint is just the opportunity to do that. So if you've read that story, or if you've seen the animated version of the movie, the live-action version with Ezra Miller will be something that's a little bit different. But he did confirm that they are doing the Batman part of Flashpoint, so heavily implied that we'll get to see a Thomas Wayne version of Batman, however briefly. But if you have any other questions about what's going on with the DC movies, just leave them in the comments below. I'll be doing videos for Aquaman and all that stuff when they start dropping teasers. They already dropped the first picture of him. This is him in that Aquaman movie. Because the movie isn't coming out till late next year, it might be a little while before we see some actual footage, but they'll release a teaser relatively soon. There's a bunch of movies dropping in the spring that they'll probably try and attach it to. The other big behind-the-scenes comic book stuff that's going on is all the Fox Marvel stuff. Supposedly, they're at the fine print stage of the deal, just sort of haggling over what gets to happen with very specific things, what they do if the government tries to break them up in an antitrust case, but for the most part, people are reporting that it's almost a done deal. But the important word there is that it's almost a deal. So don't hold your breath until you actually see somebody hold up a contract and say, everybody signed, we now own all these characters. There's a brand new Spider-Man trailer that's going to drop tomorrow. I'll do a video for that. There's also brand new Titans. We might get Donna Troy on that TV show, so I'll be doing a video for that soon too. There's a new round of the IMAX ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. Congratulations to the winner from my last DC video, Whack W. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. Click here for a brand new Flash trailer, and click here for a brand new Star Wars The Last Jedi. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.